webinar, Whiskers for Wellness, and it's all about pets. It's no secret to the millions of pet owners out there that interacting with an animal has feel-good benefits, but it goes way beyond that. Petting perks run the gamut from physical to psychological and emotional. All right, before we begin, I want to share with you what we do here at AARP Utah. We take pride in connecting Utahns with trusted resources while advocating for the issues that matter most to you. AARP works to ensure that people 50 plus have the resources they need as they age. And if you want to learn more about what we offer and the value we provide, you can scan the QR code on your screen or text the word MORE to 50757 to receive a text message about the benefits of being a member. So again, you can scan the QR codes, any one of them, but we sure like the one that's on the screen right now, and you can text the word MORE to 50757, and you'll get a one-off text message about the benefits of being a member. All right, well, let's start tonight's webinar with a poll. You should see the first question pop up on your screen now. All right, there it is. So this is a really important one for us. We do a lot of outreach, and we really want to know how people find out about our webinars. So if you would let us know, we want to know how you found out about the webinar. Did you find out via a postcard, email, you saw the class posted on Facebook or Instagram, you heard about it from a friend, or you heard about it some other way, like the radio? If you'll just fill that in, we'll get there in just a second. Looks like email is leading the charge right now. That's fantastic. Yeah, did you hear about us via postcard, email, Facebook, or Instagram? You heard about it from a friend, or you heard about it on some other way, like the radio. All right, we'll let those come in for just a second. It's like I heard about it from some other way is leading it, which is great. We want to thank you for taking that poll. It really helps us better understand how to reach all of you about our free events and webinars. Let's take our second poll. So this is a fun one too. Do you own a pet? I think many of us do. I think hopefully most of us who are on this webinar tonight do. I own 4, actually 5 in my household. My son has a cat that no one claims except my son. We have 4 dogs, which is 1 dog too many. I'm just telling you right now. Our most recent dog is kind of a nightmare, but he's still a puppy. So do you own a pet? Most, looks like 75% do. So we'll let people finish up that and take the poll there. Yes, no, but I wish I did. All right, and if you have a pet, drop what type of pet you have in the chat. Like I mentioned, I have 4 dogs and 1 cat in my household. It's pretty exciting. All right, we're going to have the few other things I want to mention before we get started. We'll get to your questions at the end of the presentation. So if you have a question at any time, put it in the chat box. We'll be recording this event, and a recording will be available on demand on the YouTube channel that we have. A link will be included in the follow-up email tomorrow morning, along with an important survey that we hope you'll take a minute to complete. All right, let's get started. Joining us tonight are 3 people from the Humane Society of Utah, and welcome. We're so excited to have you here. Jolie Gordon joined the Humane Society staff as volunteer manager in 2021. She has a knack for building relationships and for leveraging volunteers' individual talents to enrich their own lives through volunteerism and to help the Humane Society achieve its vision and its mission. Christy Cultivari is the behavior and training manager. She's seen firsthand the benefits of using positive-based methods to help Shy, timid dogs become confident, and wild, unruly dogs learn how to settle. Finally, Haley Kluge serves as the Community Resources Coordinator at the Humane Society of Utah, where she manages several key programs designed to help families stay united with their pets. She also oversees the private pet rehoming page and conducts monthly resource center outreach runs, which provide lightly used supplies and pet food to both temporary and permanent housing shelters. So Jolie, Christy, and Haley, welcome. And thank you all for joining us tonight. And remember, if you have any questions for our presenters, be sure to drop them in the chat, and we'll get to them toward the end of the presentation. So, take it away, Jolie.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jolie, the volunteer manager. And first off, we'd like to thank you for inviting us. We're happy to be here. We love partnerships. And I love AARP, and I've been trying to reach out to AARP and get some volunteers, so this is the perfect opportunity. So thank you for having us. So I've been here at the Humane Society for about 5 years as a volunteer manager. And prior to that, I was a volunteer here for 6.5 years, and I loved it. It was my favorite thing to do every week. I look forward to it. Then when this job opened up, it was the perfect fit. So, all right, next slide. All right, so I want to talk about improving the lives of animals while improving your lives. Talking about my most loved subject is volunteering. And next slide. So why volunteer? So I won't go through each bullet point, but what I'll do is just kind of do some highlights of what volunteering is like here, why you would want to volunteer. Recent studies show that 94% of volunteers reported that improved their mood, their sense of well-being, and their purpose. And that's what it did for me. I had a very stressful job, and when I came over to the Humane Society to do photography, it just took all my stress away, and I loved it. Opportunity to make new friends. So we have a lot of Kitty City volunteers that have been here for 12, 14, 18 years. And they have become the best of friends. So they have besties here. And they go out to lunch once a month. And I'm sure they talk about cats quite a bit. So they have a good time. Here you can be as social as you want to be. I have volunteers that love the social aspect of it. They like talking to patrons and volunteers. I have some that just like to come and do their jobs and then go home. So either way, you can be as social as you want to be. And then unconditional love from animals brings joy. We all know what animals do for us. They make us happy. Believe it or not, I only have one dog, but she brings me so much joy, and I get joy out of seeing the animals here. Believe it or not, I haven't adopted like 10, so some days I feel like it, but one thing I'm doing a lot of is taking photos of volunteers that are just having a good time, like these two photos on this slide. Mother and daughter duo, they come every Sunday night and they just have the best time together. Campbell in the bottom picture works over in the clinic. She just loves it and comes every week. She's been doing it for about 7 years back in the clinic. So I'm making like a photo collage in the volunteer room, so when I see something, I take photos. Like last night I was leaving and there was a volunteer dog walker sitting on a bench. The dog was sitting next to her and she was on the bench, and the dog was just licking her right up her face. And it was the cutest thing, so I stopped and I had to take a photo. So it just brings so much joy. All right, next slide. All right, let's meet our friend Mary. Mary's been here 14 years. She comes 4 days a week, 7 hours a day. Don't worry, you all do not have to volunteer that much. That's just what she chooses to do. She's done 1,000 hours per year, which is incredible. But the point on this slide is she likes to do different things. She does the Kitty City each week. She does the clinic window down at our vaccine clinic. She goes and does laundry for us. And she does something that's called Mary's List. And what she does is she makes a list of all the cats and makes notes about what's so great about these cats. Everybody uses it. Every volunteer that comes in after her uses Mary's list. And she started doing this because she's so organized, and we're utilizing her talents of making lists and being organized and knowing what's so great about these cats. So, all right, next slide. All right, so what I did, like I talked to Mary and I said, what is it that you love about volunteering? And she said, Jolie, I love the social aspect, I love talking to people, but I really get my exercise. Because at the clinic, she's walking back and forth and back and forth, and same with Kitty City. I offered her a chair back in the clinic, and she said, oh no, Jolie, I want my exercise. So she stands at the window for a couple hours each week. So, and I also asked, that kind of inspired me to ask other volunteers what they like. And here's kind of some things that they said. It's a highlight of my week. I'm so grateful you allow me to still come in once a month with my busy schedule. It's truly a highlight for me. The animals recharge me to see the positive when I'm stressed. And that really hit home because I remembered when I was volunteering, like I said, I was so stressed at my job, and here it just kind of melted away. Another volunteer said, I enjoy the camaraderie of the other volunteers and staff. I love working with other volunteers and, talking about cats and how we can make their lives better. This experience has been really nice and good for me. I didn't realize how much I needed this. And I get that a lot. People don't realize what volunteering and what being at an animal shelter does for them until they're here. And then they want to do it every week, and they want to retire and come here every day. So, all right, next slide. Actually, let's go back one. I want to talk about something else. So here, I thought this number was huge. 80 of our volunteers are 50 and older. And we have about 300 volunteers. So that's a lot. 80 of them are over 50. But the big thing here is they put in 15,000 hours last year, just those 80 volunteers. So that's half of what we do yearly. We're about 30,000. So just those 80 put in 15,000, which is incredible. The great thing is we have all volunteer opportunities 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So we can fit anyone's schedule. So that's why I like to be so flexible, because we're always here. So I'll take a volunteer whenever I can get them. So whatever works for their schedule. Do what brings you joy. So what I like to do here is train volunteers in several different areas, and then they find what really makes them happy. Here's an example. It was a dog walker, and they said, Jolie, I only want to walk dogs, because I'd asked them if they wanted to do more. And they said, nope, I only want to walk dogs. 3 months later, she came to me and said, Jolie, I went to Kitty City, and I love cats. And she decided to switch over to cats. So you never know what you're going to like here. So I like to train in different things. And you can stay with the cats, you can do other things, you can go do laundry, so everything helps here. Anything you do, it's very helpful. And what I like to do is make sure you're trained, you're comfortable, and you're good to go. Down under offer individual talents, there was a woman that walked in, her name is Jeannie. She actually came to visit me today. I haven't seen her in a couple months, she's had some health issues. She walked in and said, Jolie, I don't want to do any of this computer stuff. I don't want to log in. I don't want to sign up that way. And I said, let's go on a tour. So I took her for a tour of the shelter, and I said, tell me your background. And she said, I'm in TV and radio. And that's where she retired from. And I said, how about making phone calls to donors? She said, I'm on it. And I said, write down your name and number. And I saw her beautiful cursive. I was like, how about writing thank you notes? And she said, I'm on it. So she did it for a year. She did both of those things and just loved it. So, all right, next slide. All right, so be part of our team. There are so many things to do here. Wherever I have staff, I put volunteers. You can do just about anything. And I'm open to new ideas for volunteerism. So even if you play a musical instrument, please come. Please play for the dogs. And the cats, the bunnies, they all love music just as much as people do. So yeah, here's a whole list of things, and I'm always adding new things. I'm like, oh wait, I can get you volunteers. I have volunteers unloading our donation truck. I mean, you name it, we've got it. And if you want to be a foster family, let me know. We have tons of foster needs. We have kittens coming through our doors like crazy, so fostering is a thing. All right, next slide, and my last. All right, stay social, active, and connected through volunteering. I'm just gonna read a really quick email. This was from my volunteer of the month, and I just thought it just clearly explains what volunteering is like here. It says, hey Jolie, I still can't believe I'm so honored and already chosen to be volunteer of the month after only 1 year of volunteering. I started volunteering in May last year since I wanted to get out of the house more. And since I've always loved animals, I thought the Humane Society would be a great fit. I couldn't have been more right. Helping take care of animals feels like the absolute least I could do after a lifetime of joy animals have already given me. Volunteering in missions every week has been so special to me. I actually might even adopt a cat. Actually, it's not when, it's gonna happen, so. I can't forget to mention the amazing staff and volunteers at the Humane Society that I've worked with over the past year and got to work with every Saturday. I'm beyond thrilled to have made such an impact in a short amount of time here, and I hope to make even more of an impact in years to come. So touching. I just got this yesterday and I just thought it was perfect for this. It just exudes what volunteering is like here. So please come join our team, and I'd love to do a special orientation for AARP members. So you'll have my contact and just email me and I'll make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Jolie, I had a request that you unblur the background so that we can meet the pup that's walking around.
Oh, sure, I can do that. I'll move over for Christy and I'll do that in the background, okay?
There you go. Thank you.
And that's my baby on the screen. My one and only. I hope this doesn't mess you up.
What?
If they want me to unblur the background.
No, that's fine. All right, are we ready to get started? Okay, so my name is Christy Coltavari, and I am the Manager of Behavior and Training here at the Humane Society of Utah. I've been here 5.5 years. It's going to be 6 in October, which is still kind of wild to me.
Okay.
Prior to that, my background and experience was mostly private pet dog training in the private animal world. But the thing that I saw the most was how animal relations can really help improve both human lives and the animal lives, and then accompanied with positive reinforcement training, and then, of course, enrichment. So, there we go. So, is there any way we can change this?
Yeah. You want to see your slides?
I'd like to see my slides.
I'm not sure how I did it.
I don't want to see me quite so much.
You got it.
I think you have to remove the pin.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
There you go.
All right, thanks for your patience on that. So today we're going to look at enrichment, and basically, it's rating the recycling bin. How can rating the recycling bin and using trash, essentially, help build a better relationship with your pet and solve behavior problems? So let's dig into what is enrichment. Let's go to the next slide, please. All right, so enrichment, really, it doesn't have to be fancy. And I chose this slide particularly because I am kind of an enrichment junkie, and I get suckered into all the cool fancy objects. But really, it doesn't have to be like that. You can use something really small and really simple that works for you and your pet. Now, what we might be seeing here is some naughty behaviors that our pets might be displaying. So it might be jumping, it might be biting at the leash, it might even be tugging at the couch. And really, we're looking at how can enrichment solve some of those problems. So before we dig into that, what is enrichment? Is it just a fancy buzzword, or does it actually mean something? So enrichment is a species-specific activity where we're going into what that specific species likes and we're allowing them to display that natural behavior. So let's think about dogs, for example. They like to rip, they like to shred, and they like to dig. So an enrichment option that you're going to set up for your dog is going to be completely different than what you're going to set up for, say, your cat or a sea lion or even a giraffe. Now, it is really easy to get overwhelmed by enrichment, but let's talk about how to make it easy. So let's go to the next slide. So think of what your dog likes to do naturally. So after this presentation, look at your cat, look at your dog, and think of what are they doing naturally, or what problem behaviors are they doing that you might be trying to manage. So in the bottom corner, we have my black lab Doozy. He's digging. Digging is a very fun behavior for our dogs. It's also very, for some of us who have really nice flower beds, this might be a problematic behavior. But this is also really fun for them. So we could give them a digging pit. For those of you who are in apartments, could you bring up a small kiddie pool and put some dirt in it and encourage your dog to dig in there? You could also hide treats in there and encourage your dog to dig as well. Now in the other photos with my lab mix Rohan on the left-hand side, you see him getting food out of a box. Dogs like to sniff. This is very normal for them. This is very natural for them. So if we're hiding treats for them around the house, that's encouraging them to tap into their natural behaviors using their nose and using their brain. So this is actually going to tire them out more than a long walk around the neighborhood. So I had a lot of behavioral problems with Rohan when he was a younger dog. And as you can see here, he was doing a lot of these nose work games, which were actually really, really fun for him. And you could see a tremendous difference in his behavior after he had done a nose work session. Now, it doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just 3 minutes here, 5 minutes there. As your dog gets better and better and more comfortable with it, you can expand. You can do more areas of your house. You can also raise the box. You can make it a little bit harder for your dog to access. You can maybe tuck it in a corner that might make it harder for your dog to find. All right, let's raid the recycle bin. Let's go to the next slide. All right, so now we've talked about some of the benefits of enrichment. And when Julie and I were first talking about this presentation and this opportunity several weeks ago, I was sitting in the chairs across from her and I was staring at her recycle bin. And as you can see it on the slides right there, it's full of recycling objects. Soda cans. That is a beautiful option to use. You could take that and some of the brown paper that my cat Molly is laying in, you can put that all in that box. You can crinkle it up and put some treats in there that your dog really loves. Now, if you have a very food motivated dog, you could use their kibble. So for our dogs that are very food motivated and might need to watch the amount of treats that they're eating, use their dinner instead. Have them work for their dinner, kind of win-win. They're not getting extra calories and they're working their brain at the same time. Getting online packages delivered is both a great thing and a terrible thing for us who like to shop a lot. And we're getting packages delivered on a regular basis. So look at these beautiful cardboard boxes. Usually it comes with paper. and you can just put those treats or those toys in there. Now, if you have a brand new dog that's not used to this type of behavior and they're still learning this, make it easy for them. Don't cram it in there super tightly and close everything. Put some treats in there and leave the box open. They might be going, this is weird. So get down on the floor with them, have fun, show them how to rip that box open, and before you know it, they're gonna be figuring it out too, and you're gonna be laughing along with your dog's tail wag. All right, let's go to the next slide. All right, can we play this video? Okay, so I'll just describe what's going on in this video. So we have one of our amazing animal care staff making some enrichment for our shelter dogs. So she really just raided the recycle bin. She had a box that contained shoe covers. She had newspaper. And then she put first some treats in it, and then she just went layer upon layer of treats and newspaper and slowly packing everything in and then closing it and then eventually giving it to the dog. Now the thing with this is if she packs it in really, really tightly and then closes that lid super tightly, that might be hard for the dog to access at first. So remember how we talked about make it easy for the dog. You might want to pack it super loosely and don't close that lid the first time while they're still figuring it out. And if you look in that bowl of treats, there's some dried crunchies, some kibble, some chopped up cheese, and some hot dogs. So you can use a wide variety of treats and food to get your dog accustomed to it. So let's go to the next slide. Unfortunately, that's a video as well, and I'm not sure that's gonna play. All right, so again, I'll describe this. So this is the video that our wonderful animal, this is the box that our wonderful animal care staff, Giselle, made. And she gave this to one of our dogs, and the dog spent some time sniffing the box, pushing it around, and then eventually digging into it. This dog had a lot of fun, and it was really beneficial for this dog. The fun thing that you'll see is the dogs will really get into it, and then they will go and take a nice long nap after because they do feel very satisfied. Next slide, please. And then lastly, I have some puzzle feeders, some slow feeders here. And I have a mixture of kibble, some dog-safe baby food, some wet food, some easy cheese that I've mixed all together. And then here's the secret, I freeze it all. So for some of my dogs and some of my foster dogs, they're young, they're high energy, but they're recovering from surgery and they need to rest. So these slow feeders that are frozen, for some of the dogs, it might take them over an hour to go through. So think about for your dog, think about for your young high energy dog. This is a great way to satisfy them and make them work their brain and meet their needs. All right, let's go to the next item. That's gonna end my presentation. So I loved hearing about everyone's animals, and if you have any questions about enrichment or how to build it or any other problem behaviors that you might be experiencing, please reach out to us at behavior@utahhumane.org, and we would love to help you out and would love to hear about your pet. Thank you so much for having us, and now I'm going to turn the floor over to Haley. Always I'm tangled in the chair.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Oh, noes. Hi, y'all. How you doing? I'm Haley. I'm the Community Resources Coordinator. And something that I'm going to be chatting about with y'all is keeping pets healthy and low-cost care options. Win, win, win. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, look at all these fun words. So we're gonna start off with ways to keep your pet healthy and happy. So the biggest thing that I focus on here at the Humane Society is gonna be low-cost spay neuter and low-cost vaccines. So the biggest thing is to keep them up to date on their vaccines and then ensure that they're spayed and neutered. The Humane Society offers low-cost vaccines and spay-neuter services for individuals that may not be able to afford the regular clinic pricing. There's a bunch of benefits down here, so it goes over that spaying and neutering can reduce the risk of certain cancers, reproductive diseases. These procedures may also help decrease roaming and hormone-driven behaviors such as aggression, marking, excessive vocalization. Vaccinations protect pets from serious and potentially life-threatening diseases. Keeping pets vaccinated supports a strong immune system and helps prevent the spread of contagious illnesses. Again, lots of wins. The Humane Society also offers wellness exams now twice a week, I believe on Wednesdays and Thursdays. The wellness exams are just an annual wellness exam just to ensure that your pet's doing well, doing what they need to do. Next slide. And then just as your doctor would advise you, we want these pets to have a good diet. So just making sure that they're getting the proper nutrition for their breed and size, making sure you're feeding the right amount to help prevent obesity and other health problems, always making sure they've got fresh water. Another big one, grooming and hygiene, just making sure that you're brushing them often, making sure you're checking for fleas and ticks and unusual lumps and bumps while grooming. Again, having that clean food and water bowls, that helps prevent bacteria buildup for them. And then dental care, right? They got teeth too, so we gotta brush their teeth a few times a week, obviously with the pet safe toothpaste, no Colgate for them. This just helps prevent dental disease and other health problems. And the other week I bathed this gorgeous Saint Bernard on the left there. Took a good hour of my life to do that, but it was worth it. So yeah, it's a good workout. All right, next slide. And then I know Christy touched on this already, so I'll be semi-quick with this one. But again, all of these enrichment ideas can be really, really simple. So the biggest thing are walks. Even a 10 to 15 minute leisurely walk around the block is super great. Kind of what Christy already touched on, letting them just sniff around. It doesn't have to be this crazy hard hike up a mountain or something. Just letting them sniff around, it's highly enriching, provides a really good mental stimulation for them. And then, just as Christy already touched on, Kong toys, puzzles, shred boxes. So here's some cute pictures of, I really enjoy the cat ones. I think those are so cute. Seeing those cats really work for their treats and food. Because I think a lot of times people think of dogs, but cats enjoy this stuff too. So there's some examples of those. Again, they can be really, really simple items, just entertaining them for longer periods of time. All right, next slide. Here's my contact info. So if your pet is in need of low-cost spay neuter or vaccine services, please reach out to me. I'd love to chat with you. If you're interested in scheduling your annual wellness visit as well, just let me know. Here's all my contact info, and I'd love to chat with you about some options. I think that's it for me. I'm a quick little speeder. Any questions? I think we're ready for questions now. Yeah.
Well, that was a really fun presentation, and I love pictures of all the dogs, like and cats.
So
They're all
fun.
so cute. But yes, that's it's really fun to see everybody's pets, and
Yeah.
from puppies to old dogs, we love them all.
Yeah. Yeah, we love it. Do you guys all want to come in together? Maybe we can come in together.
To everybody who's
I'll just
listening,
put this in.
feel free to ask some questions. I've got a few of my own, but if you have questions or if you have behavioral issues, I want to kind of start there. Our puppy has a really bad habit of when he wakes up in the morning, he really likes to yarp and is very sharp, and it drives us all crazy. Is there a way to help your dog not be so barky?
I'm sorry, he's barking?
Yeah, like barky, really sharp, yarpy, loud barks.
I like it.
Okay, so all behavior has a purpose. So the first thing, you're going to put on your Sherlock's Home cap and figure out what is the purpose of your puppy's behavior. So is he in his crate, and is he barking to be let out because puppy bladders are very tiny and he might have to go out and empty his bladder first thing in the morning? Or is he very hungry? Young dogs have very fast metabolisms, and like young humans, being hangry is a very real thing. Now, if those are satisfied for him and he's still barking, then it is an unmet need. Is he looking for attention from you? Or did you inadvertently reinforce this behavior? Did he start barking out the window and then you called him over and gave him a very special chew, and he learned, oh, if I bark out the window, I'm going to get called over and I'm going to get a special chew. So it's not necessarily a do this and then, you'll have silence for the rest of the morning. So kind of figure out what your puppy is trying to communicate to you and go from there. The other thing that you can do ahead of time is if your puppy is just waking up early, and puppies, like young kids, do that. So if he is waking up super early and you've taken him out, he's pottied, he's had breakfast, and he just wants to get up and get going, and it's 5 a.m. and your alarm isn't supposed to go off until 7 and you would like some more snooze time, instead of giving him breakfast, give him breakfast in a slow feeder. Freeze that food, freeze it in a puzzle feeder, and give that to him in his crate. He's going to work on that while you can go back in and take a nap. Does that help?
Well, it does. I love that. And I thought the freezing idea was an incredibly good tip. I love that. We got some
Excellent.
questions coming in. I'll throw them at you. Darren asks, how do you help a cat that always wants to fight with other cats?
That's a tough one.
Okay, so there is a lot to unpack with that. Is this something that has been going on for years, and are they, always been at loggerheads? Or is this a brand new cat in a brand new home with new roommates, essentially? So I'm going to go for the more easier scenario. It's a brand new cat in a brand new home, and the resident cat does not appreciate having a roommate all of a sudden, and now you're having some fights. So in that case, I would stop attempting to do all intros and keep everyone separate for at least 10 to 14 days. So their stress levels, their cortisol, their adrenaline can return to normal. And then you're going to start with scent swapping. So you're going to pet each cat, separate times obviously, with a sock. And then you're going to let each cat, again keeping them separate, smell those socks so they can get each other's scent without that pressure of interacting. And then assuming that's going well, and assuming these cats are food motivated, you're going to have two people, one's going to be on with one cat and one's going to be with the other cat, and then you're going to sit on each side of the door, and the cats are going to eat treats and play with toys. They can hear each other, they can smell each other, but they don't have that stress of immediate interaction. And then assuming that goes well, my next favorite thing to do is you're going to get baby gates, and you're going to put one on top of the other one, so it makes it a little bit harder for the cats to jump over, and you're going to do the same thing, but now the cats are separated by the baby gates, so if things do go south, you can step in, and they're not immediately going to rush at each other and fur is going to fly. It does take a very, very long time. It can take several weeks to several months for harmony to be achieved. Now, the other thing as well is Make sure you have plenty of resources available for your cats. So if you have 2 cats, that means you need to have 3 litter boxes, and they all need to be in different rooms. Don't have a row of litter boxes lined up, because some cats will guard and bully other cats away from the litter boxes. Don't just have one cat tree set by the window. Have multiple cat trees. Have multiple watering stations and multiple feeding spots. I have 3 cats, so I have 4 litter boxes. Each cat has their own designated feeding spot, as well as I have multiple watering stations set up for them throughout the house. Does that help?
That's great. Yeah, I'm impressed by that. You mentioned that if you have 2 cats, you want 3 litter boxes. If you have 3 cats, you want 4 litter boxes. What's the
Correct.
math on that?
So you want to have 1 extra box for the amount of cats you have, because resources are very important to cats, as well as some cats. They're very neat, they're very clean, and some cats will prefer to urinate in 1 box and defecate in another box. So the hope is that there's always going to be an extra clean box for the cats to be available. I'm not sure how my girls decided, but they have decided that the downstairs box is for defecation and the upstairs boxes are for urination. They came up with that plan on their own, and that is them.
I love that. Tana asked the question, do you guys have mobile vet wellness services because her cat hates the carrier?
At this time, we don't. I think that would be a really cool goal. But at this time, we don't, unfortunately. Our wellness clinic is fairly new still, so it's not operating like a full service vet by any means. It's really just for a wellness checkup, just to make sure everything's, going in the right direction. And right now, we don't have any mobile vets, but I'm sure Christy could talk about how to acclimate your cat to a carrier.
Now that's going to be a much longer answer. So if you wrote down my email address, please reach out to us and we can step you through how to get your cat a little bit more comfortable in their crate.
Yeah.
Richard asks a great question. He says, my dog doesn't seem to consistently want to eat. He feeds her twice a day, 1.5 cups in the morning, same at dinner time. She might not eat one of those meals in a day, and she's always been pretty quirky about it. She does love treats and gets excited when the treat bag comes out. So any idea what's going on there?
It's hard to say. My first thought is she just getting full, or does she not like her food? So,
bored.
Or is she just bored with the meal? So some options are you can chat with your veterinarian and see, is your dog an appropriate weight? And if your vet says, actually, they could stand to lose a few pounds, maybe you are overfeeding your dog. We all do that. We love them so much. And, food is a sign of love. I do that with my family of, oh, great, you're coming to visit. Here, let me make 5 cakes for you. Because, again, that's how we show our love. So that might be a good conversation to have with the veterinarian. Another thing, too, is some dogs really don't like free food, for lack of a better word. They like working for their food. So try scattering that kibble, just in small places around the house and see if that encourages the dog to eat more. I heard of a story of a giraffe who had free access to his alfalfa, and he said no. He preferred to work for food out of puzzle feeders that encouraged him to forage and tap into his natural behaviors. Even though he was essentially able to self-serve, he said that was too easy and he wanted to work. So that might be what's going on with your dog.
Good stuff. And Richard says she weighs 57 pounds, which is the appropriate amount, which is good. I try and keep my dogs pretty lean too, because I like to hike with them, and they seem to do better when they're at the appropriate weight. So well done,
Yes,
Richard.
they do.
we had a question from Kristen. She's asking, what's the best way to avoid resource guarding?
Getting hard hitter questions.
Most of these questions are not quick one-word answers. So what is the dog guarding? Is it towards people? Is it towards other dogs? Is it a new behavior? So if this is a new behavior that's just come up and your dog has never displayed any type of resource guarding, the first thing that I would do is get your dog to your veterinarian and do a full medical workup. So anytime there is a change in behavior, you have to rule out medical concerns. So I don't know about you guys, but when I'm having a pain flare-up, I get a little grouchy, and that can affect my overall behavior. Our dogs are the same way. Now let's look and see, what is your dog guarding? And again, is it towards people? Is it towards animals? Is it towards animals? And is she giving subtle signs that she's feeling uncomfortable? So some dogs might feel the concern that their resources might be taken away, and they might have a plushie toy that they find highly valuable, and the other dog is coming over and going, hey, that looks cool, I want that. And they might give some very small, subtle shifts in their body language that might indicate that they are not interested in sharing, yet the other dog goes, no, you're going to share that, and goes through and takes that item, and then you might have a fight on your hands. So it's up to us. Again, we're putting on our Sherlock Holmes cap, and we're sleuthing. We're watching this body language. We're watching this behavior going, oh, Fluffy is trying to guard this toy from Joey, but Joey's being kind of rude and trying to take it. Okay, I'm going to step in and I'm going to redirect Joey away and not bother Fluffy. Now the other thing too is, if you're giving them high value items such as a stuffed Kong or bully stick, and you have multiple animals in the home, make sure that they are in areas that they're not going to bother each other. So dogs are very much like young kids. My dogs will, one of my dogs will finish her chew really fast, and then she'll wander over to the other dog and go, hey, that looks nice, can you give that to me? And that's not fair to the other dog who's taking his time. So I will call her away and put her in a different area of the house so the other dogs can still have their toys in peace. Now again, this is a really dense question, and I gave you a very summarized version, so I probably did not fully answer your question. So please reach out to us via email, and we can see if we can help step you through that a little bit more.
And just so you guys know, in the chat, we've put in email addresses, we put in upcoming events, we've got other kinds of phone numbers and things as well. So check those for any kind of resources if you need them. Sherry asks, she makes a comment first, says that she has 2 friends who have lost their pets, but due to the friend's advanced age, they're afraid to get another pet. They're concerned that the new pet will outlive them. And so are there any resources for individuals who would like to make accommodations for their pets if they were to outlive someone?
Yeah, I mean, one option they could do is, if they don't want to commit to a pet for long term because of that, they can always foster. So I'm like, so fostering is the thing, so because it's very temporary, and you can choose what you want to foster, so that's an option. But I have the same concern if, my dog outlives me, but there are resources to put a plan in place for that. I'm not sure exactly where to go, but I could look into it, and just email me and I can do some digging.
Awesome, thank you. Tana asks the question, are there humane societies up north? And you probably could just say throughout the state, because Salt Lake City's pretty far. She would love to volunteer, but looking for someplace a little closer.
So there are shelters up north. There is a Humane Society of Northern Utah. They're not associated with us, but there's a few up north that they can look into volunteer programs.
Just Google it.
Yep, just Google it.
Okay, very good. Patricia asked the question, is playing games in the backyard as good for a dog as a walk?
They're both really beneficial, and it kind of depends on your dog and you and what needs you're trying to meet. So an example might be one of my dogs, Bree, she is very leash reactive. So that means she barks and lunges when she sees other dogs. My neighborhood is full of dogs. Dogs on leash, off leash, on decks, in yards, and basically there are times if I'm trying to walk her around the neighborhood that I'm walking down a gauntlet. She's on her tippy toes, scanning the environment, looking for other dogs. I'm not enjoying the walk. She's not enjoying the walk. It's raising both of our stress and our cortisol levels. I'm fortunate where I have a really nice big fenced-in backyard. So I'm able to play games with her in that yard and satisfy her needs that way. And then I will take her out in the car and go out for longer walks in quiet areas. So again, not one is better than the other one. If playing games in the yard is great for you and your dog, keep doing that. But if your dog really enjoys a lazy, sniffy walk around the neighborhood where they get a chance to check email, Facebook, and leave a comment on their own, that's wonderful too. So make sure you're doing what works for you and your dog.
That's great. That's good to know, because I know some of my dogs love walking. I have my little rescue dog, Walter, is the worst on a leash. He hates it. But he also loves trotting around in the neighborhood. So we let him play in the yard because he's too little, and we have foxes nearby, so we don't let Walter play in the yard too much without supervision. Tana asked the question, she'd like to make an estate donation when she passes away. Is there such a thing for, I'm assuming you guys have opportunities if somebody wanted to make a donation in their will?
Yes, there is actually, and I'm on that team, so go ahead and email me and I will get you to the right person.
Perfect. That's wonderful.
And thank you for
Well,
that.
looks like I think we have got all the questions. If there's any other quick questions anybody wants to make, go ahead and throw that in. Judy's just given some love. Thank you for presenting the program full of new ideas to use for your new puppy and for the 11-year-old lady puppy. I mean, they're all puppies, right? We love them no matter how old they are.
And the other thing that I would like to share is the behavior team we do put on. We're trying to do monthly in-person workshops covering various behavior topics. So if that is something that interests you, keep an eye on our website for classes and workshops that are going to be coming up in the future.
Sounds great. One other quick question came in, and then I'll give you guys kind of a last word. What things are good for teeth health for dogs?
I mean, brushing them. There's these cute little pet toothbrushes that are really great. If you can't brush your pet's teeth just due to like handling sensitivities or this or that, I mean, you've always got like the dental chews, things like that. There's dental powder now too that you can put as a topper on top of your food that helps out. But I think the best option is to actually brush. But again, if that doesn't work out, there's other dental options too.
That is such good advice. And I would just note, I've noticed like my little dog, Walter, he does not chew hardly at all. And so we have to do extra work for him to keep him brushed. My big dogs love to chew, and they have much cleaner mouths than my little dog.
Yeah, I have the same problem. My little dog chews only on one side. So her teeth are great on one side and terrible on the other.
Shanna asks a quick follow-up. Is there a specific dog toothpaste that you recommend?
So you really want an enzymatic cleaner that's going to go in there and really get that plaque and tartar off. Make sure it is dog specific. So if you go to PetSmart or Petco or even Amazon, They have a very wide dog dental section that's actually getting bigger and bigger. And you can find a toothpaste that will work for your dog. Oftentimes they're flavored. Just make sure that you are using dog toothpaste and not human. Human oftentimes can have xylitol in there, which is highly, highly toxic to our dogs. So make sure you are using dog-based toothpaste only.
Great counsel. All right, I'm going to give you guys the last word, and then I'll wrap up.
Thank you so much for having us. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've
Thank
loved
you.
it too. Thank you guys so much for all the good advice, the good counsel, the cute pet pictures of dogs. I mean, what fun. And if all of you have enjoyed our webinar as much as we did, we'd love for you to join us on our next free webinar. That will be on artificial intelligence. So in that artificial intelligence webinar, we're going to introduce some of the basic ideas around artificial intelligence. We'll talk about how AI is being used today, its current limitations, and how it will shape the future. So join us, learn more at aarp.org/Utah webinars. You can also take a second and scan that QR code. It'll help you register for the next class in the series. Once again, before we wrap, we want to give a big thank you to the Humane Society of Utah for giving our presentation today, and thank you all for attending. Hope you guys have a great night. Bye all.